welcome back to Jujube DIY. I'm Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm making a couple of spring dupes. I'm so excited to share these projects with you, so if you want to see how I made them, stay tuned. This is our inspiration for our first project. This was $42.99 on Etsy. I'm definitely going to link that shop down below so that if you want to just go and purchase your own houses for your home decor, you can do that and support that Etsy seller. But if you want to know how I made this dupe, let's get started with our first house. All right, so I'm using one of these chalkboard houses from the Dollar Tree. These were new to me recently. I gave it a coat of white paint and then decided that I wanted the inside to be the celery color from Waverly. I then went in with a bit of white paint and did some dry brushing. Then I decided I wanted it to look like shiplap on the inside. So I am using my grid ruler from Michaels. I love this ruler. I've used it tons of times, but I'm just going to use a pencil and make some 1/2-inch marks along the inside of my house here. And then I am going to just use my fingers and smudge those lines along that pencil mark. And that just makes this look like a shiplap house. Next, I'm going to go in with some of the Waverly Chalk paint in Elephant and a dry chip brush, and I am just going to do some distressing. I wanted my homes or my houses to look a little more distressed, a little more farmhouse instead of kind of that modern look. Next, I'm going to take another chip brush and some white paint, and I am just going to go in between those pencil marks of my shiplap just to make this look a little more like wood slats here. And then I'll go back in with my pencil again to darken those lines up. I will smudge those lines with my finger again, and that just makes it look a little more shiplappy, I guess. We're just doing that faux shiplap look. Next, I went to my Cricut and I cut out of vinyl this decal that says Party of 5. I just used my own fonts and created this in Design Space. But if you don't have a Cricut, definitely don't feel like you can't do this project. You can paint these on. I've showed you how to use graphite paper to transfer words onto a project, and then you can paint those in. You can use stickers or you can buy vinyl decals that are already made off of places like Etsy or Facebook Marketplace. Next, I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree gingham ribbon in black and white, and I'm just going to add a cute little bow to the top of this house. And that pretty much completes this little house. How cute is that? Party of 5. We have 5 family members in our home. And here is a quick look at that house. For our second house, I'm going to use this decor piece that I found at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to utilize the house for this part of the project. So I'm going to take the hinge off, take all that paper off, give it a nice little sanding, fill in those holes with some spackle, and then paint the whole thing in the celery color from Waverly. Next, I'm going to use some regular sized popsicle sticks or craft sticks, and I'm going to cut them down to a 45-degree angle at the top there with my miter shears. Now, I am not super impressed with my miter shears at this point. I am hoping that the blade was just a little bit dull, but I was really kind of having a hard time cutting regular popsicle sticks with these miter shears. And I felt like I could do a better job with my scissors, so I'm definitely not recommending this product at this time. I'm going to play around with it a little more and see if I can get it to work better. But you can just use your scissors to cut this down. And then I am just going to use a little bit of wood glue and some hot glue to attach the roof line to my house. Next, I'm going to paint the roof line with some white paint, and then I'm going to go in with some Waverly Chalk paint from Elephant and really distress this little house up. I really wanted this one to look very rustic and very farmhouse, so I'm going in with a pretty heavy hand on this part of the distressing. And I'm going to just distress that roof line, and then I'm going to go down towards the bottom of the house and kind of flick my paintbrush up and kind of create that really rustic, like it's been sitting in, wet, and just really that wood is getting weathered kind of look. So I just prefer this kind of style when I'm doing some distressing, and you can definitely distress it as much or as little as you want. Now I created this decal in Cricut Design Space. I will leave the fonts that I use down below. I have actually stopped purchasing the Cricut Access and have been using Creative Fabrica to get all of my SVGs and fonts for Cricut Design Space. So I'll link that all down below for you. This house here was a little house from the Dollar Tree. I just took all of that fabric off of the front. It had a little black heart. I sanded it down, painted it with a Waverly Chalk paint, an elephant, did the roof line the same way I did with the last house with jumbo popsicle sticks or medium popsicle sticks. And then again, went into Cricut and cut out some vinyl with each of our family names on there. I'm going to put that little black heart that was originally on this house back onto it. And then I'll just make a little jute twine bow and put that on the house. And that is all there is for this little house. Super simple and cute. Our fourth house was a clearance find at Michael's a couple of years ago. I just took all the paper and all of the decor elements off of it, and the roof line as well. The roof was attached with a couple of little brads. I just pulled those out with my pliers and it was easy peasy. And then I will just sand everything down. Now I'm going to use a couple of different size craft sticks to make the doors and the windows. I will leave the sizes that I use down below. And this little piece here was a Dollar Tree clip from, I think, like the garden section maybe. It just had like a little clothespin on the back. I just took that clothespin off and then I will repaint it to match our color scheme. Next, I painted the house white and I painted the roof line in the elephant from Waverly. And I'm just going to reattach this using my Gorilla hot glue sticks. Now, if you're going to use this in an area where the temperature might get a little extreme, like hot or cold, then I would definitely recommend using some wood glue instead of just hot glue. But this is going to be in my house, not sitting in direct sunlight. So I feel like that the hot glue will be just fine here. And now I'm going to attach my windows. Again, I had just cut down some medium craft sticks to a size that I thought would be cute for windows, and I painted those in the elephant color from Waverly. And then the door was one of the really jumbo craft sticks from Walmart. I just cut that down to a size that I thought would be cute for my house and then painted it in the Celery color. And then I'll just go in with a little black paint pen and add a little doorknob. Next, I'm going to add a house number to my house. I chose 222 because there are two people, my husband and I, and we created 3 children. So that just kind of is a representation of our family. You can actually add your house number here if you'd like, or you can just make up a number that represents your family in some sort of creative way. I wanted to add a bit more decoration to the front of my house, so I'm going to use these rub-on transfers that I've had in my stash for a long time. Now, I know you can't get these at Dollar Tree anymore, and if you don't have these in your stash already, then you might be able to find these rub-on transfers. These have been at my Dollar Trees very recently. You may be able to find them there, or you can get onto Google and type in eucalyptus rub-on transfers, and you will be able to find different places that will sell these kind of eucalyptus looking rub-on transfers or stickers that have that clear backing. Either way, you can definitely create something similar to this if you don't have these exact rub-on transfers. Now I'm just going to layer these up a little bit to make this cute little swag in the front of my house. And I decided that, I was only going to distress a couple of the houses, and then the other couple of houses I wanted to be more plain, just so that it was a visually kind of more appealing and gave a variety in the decor piece. So our last house, we're going to utilize one of those chalkboard houses again from the Dollar Tree. And then I have this seat in my stash. You can get these letters at Michael's or Joann's, Hobby Lobby. just make sure that you measure out your house first to make sure that your letter will fit in there. And then I'm just going to use some gingham or buffalo check plaid paper that I had in my stash. Again, you can pretty much find this buffalo check paper at any craft store anymore. And then I'm just going to glue it on using a glue stick, and then using a finger sander, a little sander that I picked up at Walmart. I am just going to sand off all those edges. Now for the curve inside, I found it very helpful to use my scissors to clip the curve, and then I was able to really get in there with my sander and sand that off easily. I just painted that outside edge with black. You definitely should probably do that before you put your paper on. And then I just went around the paper with the sander and just really distressed that C up pretty good. So those edges are kind of distressed looking. And then I'll just glue that into my house just like so. Now I had this little heart in my stash. I just gave it a coat of white paint, and I'm going to add that to my house as well. Just kind of keeping some of those elements from the other house carrying through, and it just kind of keeps everything cohesive. So here is a final look at our project. I love how this one turned out, and I think it is just as good as the original. This video is part of the First Friday playlist. I'm so happy to host this playlist with my friend Lisa from Our Gray House, and this month our guest host is Tammy from Happiness Created. Now I know I'm a little bit late on posting this video, but definitely go check out all of their channels, check out the playlist. There's so many creative dupes from this playlist this month. And then if you have a chance, head on over to our Facebook group called Crafty DIYs on a Budget. I'll link that down below as well. I found this wall decor piece on Wayfair for $49.99 and knew I could do this for so much cheaper. So I'm going to start off with a 7-inch embroidery hoop. You can get these embroidery hoops at any craft store and Walmart. I'm just going to separate the two pieces. You just unscrew that top to kind of pull it apart, and then I'm going to add some burlap in here. Now before you go putting all of this together, because I kind of forgot about it, you're going to need a second piece because you want to make a pocket to put your lavender in. So definitely open up that little screw all the way and then cut down another piece of burlap. Now I was lucky because my burlap had a finished edge, and I'm going to use that as the top of my pocket so I don't have to glue that down. But if your burlap is not finished on the edge, you'll definitely want to use a little bit of hot glue to create a nice seam. Now I'm just going to put both pieces together, put my pocket wherever, you can make your pocket as deep as you want. I just kind of did about halfway, and then I'm going to put that embroidery hoop back together. And as I go, I'm just going to pull the fabric tight. Now I don't want to make that pocket too tight because you want to be able to put stuff in there, but you want to make sure that all the wrinkles are out and that it looks nice. So just continue to kind of pull that fabric and tighten that screw at the top as you go. It's really very simple. I think the thing you probably need to be most mindful of is just making sure that your pocket is vertical to the top of your hoop there where the screw is. Once you get everything in there and tightened, then you just use a pair of scissors and trim off any of that extra burlap around the back. I am literally just using my scissors and just cutting it down. Now I realized once I got it all cut that there was just a little bit left to trim down, so I'm just going to trim that down as close to the embroidery hoop as possible so that it will lay flat against my wall when it's hanging. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue and just really make sure that that edge is secure. I've had this spring metal sign in my stash for a long time. It came off of another Dollar Tree sign that I had pulled off a long time ago. I gave it a quick sanding and then a coat of white paint. Once that was dry, then I'm going to go in with the lavender from Waverly and give this a couple of coats of that paint. And you could definitely use any metal sign you want. It could say welcome, family, spring, happy, whatever kind of metal sign you can find would be perfect on this little wall decor piece. Now I'm going to use the lavender from Walmart. I really love the look of this lavender, and I've picked up so much of it over the years. And as you can see, I just kind of cut it down and I put it in my stash and use it wherever I need to. But I'm just going to place this in here, making it look as full and fill that whole entire space up with this beautiful lavender from Walmart. Once I get my lavender in there how I like it, then I'm going to add my spring word to the front. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of this gel super glue from the Dollar Tree to give it that long-term hold. And then I'll add just a touch of hot glue just so that it will hang on, quickly. So then I don't have to worry about making sure that it is completely dry before I start messing around with it. Then I'm just going to add a little bit of lavender ribbon at the top there, and this is how it turns out. And for about $2 or $3, I think that this is a great bargain and a perfect savings. That's all I have for you today. Definitely let me know in the comments down below which project was your favorite. Don't forget to check out Lisa's channel, Tammy's channel, and the playlist. And thank you so much for your support and for watching my channel. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you have a happy, healthy, and blessed day. And until next time, bye-bye.